I'm not trying to solve a problem in a month or 2 months. I'm here for long game, and I want to make sure I do this right and make it truly a game changing tool.
Today's guest, beforehand, if there's names that are a little bit more difficult for me to pronounce, he's got a cool one. I still try to get it right. So it's Dinakara Nagalla.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
He's a technologist, a human-centered AI architect, and author of Becoming Human. I'm pumped to talk about this book. Dinakara has spent decades building AI-enabled systems, I said decades, that don't just scale. They remember, they trust, and they serve people. His perspective challenges the tech world to design with soul and purpose, not just efficiency. And today we're talking about technology that supports human growth, not replaces it, and what it really means to lead with integrity in an age of rapid change.
There you go. Thank you. That's an excellent introduction, Mark.
Yeah, man. So, boy, this world of rapid change, huh?
We are in the world of rapid change, and it's very interesting to see how things are going to go.
What about your book? I love the title, and it says "Becoming Human." I went, aren't we already?
Well, most everyone kind of asked me that question that before reading the book. I thought we're already humans. You're correct. From a technical sense, we're already humans, but there is always this growth that that is part of our journey, from birth to death. So at some point in the process, I think we learn a lot, and we make a turnaround. A lot of people experience it, I believe. Before I say the next sentence, I'm going to tell one thing. There are about 50 reviews personally I got from different people that read my book from all walks of life, include young teens, young adults to grown-ups. And one common theme I heard from everyone is, man, when I read this, it's kind of reading my life, not my life, their life. No matter where they are in their journey. So they can relate so much to it, their childhood or their growth or their job, friends, family, other issues they go through. The reason why it was so important for me to hear that is, the theme or the title Becoming Human takes the journey of me when I start understanding what life is about, to the point when my life got toppled, to the point I got up and started walking again. So, all those things we all go through at certain stages of life when you're very young or somewhere along the way, right? So, so my response to you is, yes, we're all humans, but somewhere along the way, we truly understand what being human is. That's the process is what becoming human is.
That's good. It goes in line. We'll get into your new adventure and your endeavor about, AI to drive philanthropic adventures and building cultures and better communities. But when you said your life got toppled, what your book you wrote the story of your life, there's this thing called the hero's journey. And it's what most movies track. It's all the superheroes, but it's usually what we consider and stamp people with the biggest successes in life and business and media. They all had this hero's journey. They were torn down. They lost it all. They lost a lot of people around them, and then they came back. But not everybody comes back and lives this hero's journey. So when you were knocked down, what was going on inside of you? What caused you to fight, to strive, to build back, to build the life you want?
That's a great question. I really like where we're going with this. The part of knockdown is it's your relative expectations of where you are in life. So if you think you are at 100 feet, and when you fall down, you're going to fall 100 feet. If you think you are at 10 feet, when you fall down, you're going to feel the 10 feet drop, right? So in my case, I worked really hard to build my family, to build my career. For as long as I did, the way I dreamt, the way I planned on my terms, and I probably became arrogant along the way that nothing can beat me because it was going so well. So now you can imagine the gap is pretty significant. So when life hit me hard, you know, I was probably 2 seconds away 2 seconds away from like running my Tesla right into a median. That's how upset I was. I would never do it, but you go through these motions in life, right? And so then those 2 seconds give me the turnaround I need. The moment I thought like that 2 seconds made me think like, shit, what the hell am I doing? We have much more purpose. These are all like transient feelings that will come and go, right? So the growth I had until then, whatever I accomplished or not until then, just I felt they're meaningless. They don't have real meaning. And so what that helped me is reshape my life in a different way. My thinking, my life, the way I look at my kids, the way I look at my friends, family, a stranger while I'm on the street, everything dramatically changed. So that was for me a change. A lot of people, like you said, some will come back much stronger, some may not come back, some will come back bitter, so bitter that they'll go in a completely different direction. It has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with who you are in the strata of life, but it has everything to do with how you approach your life. So I felt like my approach for life took a turn for the better with whatever I felt like did wrong to my life. That makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The book themes, there's a few really big themes that stuck out to me as we
Uh-huh.
researched it and looked into it. That's going to lead to everything you're doing now. But that imperfection is actually a strength.
Yes. Yes. You know, the one thing I struggled in the first 20 years of my life is every time I felt like something was wrong, I used to uh, make my life so hard and everyone around me also so hard to fix it. It's all the way from how my kids are fed to what they're studying and what vacations they're going. Everything I was so meticulous. So then I realized, uh, you know, imperfection. We label things good, bad, ugly, perfect, imperfect. When there is one thing that always. When I grew up, I went to a school. I went to a missionary school, and one of the things I learned along the way is from the pastor that is humans are born sinful. That was the biggest Bible lesson I took. And I took it in such a way that it came true to me that we're never perfect to begin with. And we're going to spend our entire lives trying to turn around something that should never be turned around. So imperfection is something what we're labeling as is a personality trait that was supposed to be the way it is. If I comb my hair like this, it is imperfect. And it's perfectly okay. Why do I need to comb it such a way that needs to look perfect? Right? I mean, that's a very simple example, but that's my point, right? If you can embrace your imperfections and not get too stressed out about it, the magnitude and the lens you look at them will be so minimal that they won't even matter in life.
Yeah. Deep in the book too. And then we're going to jump over to core themes about what you're building now. But you touch on this idea about, authenticity is like the word of the past 10 years, but you talk about authenticity over image. And I'm sure that also goes with ego and all this. That's kind of the conversation we're having here. Worried about
Right.
the outside judgment. Success isn't about projecting this polished persona, but owning your story. I think that's the idea.
Right. Yes. And I have a deeply philosophical conclusion on this in general. I'm going to start from the end. The end is, at some point, we're going to stop breathing. When we stop breathing, over the next week, 10 days, people will gather around us. Condolences messages to talking about what you accomplished will turn into coffee talk to political talk to some other discussion. Very soon, within a month or less than that, actually in days, you'll be forgotten. And you don't even know as a dead person what's happening right after that. So what are you fighting for? You're not fighting to build a legacy that you can't feel. You can't fight for legacy no one is going to care about after you're gone. So what are you really fighting for? No, so now you tie that back to authentic living and stop craving to build a legacy, stop craving to build a fortress for something that you're never going to see, no one is going to care for. I think when you kind of take all these things into perspective, the reality is, are you happy today? And where does happiness come from? And to me, all of these have one root, that is being true to yourself. I think you can do whatever you want to do. You can buy material things. You can buy Lamborghinis. You can go have $1 million vacations. That's not the matter. The matter is whatever you do in the world you are, in the affordability you have, are you happy? Whether it is doing a staycation or whether being a teller at a bank or doing a job at Walmart or being a CEO of a $1 billion company. Are you authentic to yourself, to the people around you? I think that's what gives you a sense of peace and happiness. And once you achieve that, then everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you think happiness, we shouldn't define it as a feeling, but almost a state that we're in? Because feelings and emotions are going to come and go. And I just think about hard times. And I just don't know anything great that we all do that every day it goes to plan. Most things don't. And if we're in the state and committed to this thing that you say that our true self or what we're destined to do, what our purpose is, right? That should combine with, if you know you're doing that and you're committed to it, the hard stuff shouldn't make you unhappy.
You are absolutely right. It's the state of being. I mean, if you try and work for happiness, it will never happen. Period, right? You work for stuff that keeps you at peace, which in turn creates a state. You're going to go through all the emotions in life, right? No matter how perfect human being you are, you're going to go through all sorts of emotions in life. I don't care if you are a pastor at a church or a Sadguru or a pope. You have to go through all your emotions in life, but that's not important. The important part is when you take at any moment in life, how many threads you are running in your brain that are pulling you down. And the reason behind them. If the reason behind them is because of your actions, that means your state of happiness will never be achieved. If the reason is, okay, I want to make sure my son gets into a good college. I want to make sure, my dog is sick. I want to make sure it becomes better. Those things are part of life and we have to embrace them. Right? But everything else is noise we create that should not exist.
Yeah, it's whatever's happening out there. It only affects us if we allow it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, hey, it's a very hard thing to do too, right? Yeah.
No, hey, listen, I'm sitting here at 46 and the things I'm talking about, I'm not a guru. It's just finally some of the lessons that I've learned that said, hey, listen, if I want to live a more peaceful life plugged into this idea, I don't even know if it's habit, it's contentment for me. I just know that I'm doing the things I need to be doing. And when it's hard, it's not going to get me down. The emotions aren't going to be bad. But yeah, I mean, there's different things happening on a daily basis, but to be able to conquer one's own mind, I think I'm in the process of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a big deal. That awareness is important.
Yeah.
Right? The idea that you can observe yourself and say, hey, this has been my behavior. that itself is a change that will start making a difference in your life.
Right on. Hey, so your next level of AI, you've been doing this for decades. I know too, from a consumer standpoint, if it's not our career, it feels like it's new because there's Chat GPT and there's Perplexity. There's a bunch of different ones that now we have access to. We either talk to it or we plug in text and it's thinking for us and it's creating spreadsheets and algorithms. So it's really the first time that the programmer, the builder has been using it in the past 3-4 years. But you've been working on it for decades, so this isn't new to you. But what you're working on now, if you can do somewhat of a deep dive, but it's unlike typical AI models, the way that consumers will understand it, what you're doing now, that prioritize quick responses, but you advocate for a system, I believe, that hold memory and narrative, like contextually.
Right.
And that's different, right? Because these systems that we're interacting with right now, it seems when I'm building I build a program or build a system or I build it. Once I'm done building that, the thinking and the thought and the learning doesn't carry over to the next one automatically.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So, AI is a multi-dimensional monster right now. It has a very big benefit that people can get if they figure out how to use it in their day-to-day life. It will shorten. It has a way to make you the dumbest person on the planet because you're not thinking anymore. You're letting it think all the time for you. And it's happening as we speak, right? And it has the another head that is trying to replace portions of a lot of jobs and portions of your career differently, shaping it differently, and that's happening. Like that, there are many facets to it, right? But the inevitable thing is change is going to come in. It's going to happen. You cannot stop it. So every entrepreneur has a responsibility, right? One of the things is, what are you going to use it for? How are you going to convert that to a useful tool for humanity? And I strongly believe there will be a section of people that are going to 100% focus on making humans completely useless. There is no need for them. That's their focus. And I can't stop that. You can't stop that. Nobody can stop that. And there's a section of people like me that wants to figure out how to make it a tool to enhance my life at a balance, right? So like that, there are all sorts. So in my sphere of life, context is important. Humanizing AI is important. Carrying the memory is important. And, and all of these, the net effect should be it, not only it gives me more time for me to be a human and do things a human does. So I get more time in the day to do more things with my family, more things for me. And so that's what I'm focused on. How to make it a useful tool that it can overall reduce the burden on a human, because everything got so complex with technology and stuff right now. If that makes sense.
Do you think that, so I have this question like, hey, are you going to be able to monetize it? Is it a capitalist venture with also making a positive difference? Can you do that?
Right. No, I mean, absolutely, of course, and it's happening every day now, right? People are monetizing it differently. Right now, AI is the low-hanging fruit is marketing, coding tools, for consumer generative AI. That's how people are monetizing it, creating all sorts of agents around it. But the applied agentic AI or applied AI to solve the problem in the real world, we haven't seen that yet. Like, for example, right? I'm a guy sitting there and planning aircraft routing. How is AI going to help me to do my job better? That stuff hasn't happened yet. Everything is around coding. Everything is around replacing people, call center operators, that kind of stuff, right? So I think to me, the pivot comes when you start putting technology into the hands of people that they can overall make everything better, safer, efficient, and effective. And that is what at least I'm working on in my sphere of.
How do you do it? Is this done just in a almost in a bubble that you just build this one thing, or can you build an AI system that improves society in multiple areas and multiple facets? Does this have to be really central focused, or can it be broad?
It can be broad, and I'll tell you my use case, how I'm doing it, right? And so right now I'm focused on digital twin technology. Okay, what does that mean, right? Like if I take an aircraft, I want to see that aircraft replica on my screen, and it always mirrors the status of the aircraft. That's digital twin. And now I want to see the same technology for humans, where a replica of me kind of helps me with other stuff. So, okay, I'll take the first use case. What the hell do you mean, right? I'll take the first use case. So the Matra is the app that we are slowly rolling out. It's around mental health, and it's not a chatbot. There are so many AI chatbots out there that are completely useless. And I'm not trying to replace a therapist. I'm not trying to make therapy 100% AI. What I'm trying to do is put a tool in there that gives therapists a way to be much more effective in their job, and also expand their ideology in between sessions. So because their access and their availability is so minimal, right? And at the same time, take that ideology and apply it to general reflective based mental health. When you take your typical 10 people, six of them are craving for be able to just talk and get a good coaching response, or just be a listening ear. When you talk to ChatGPT today, it has no boundaries. It agrees with you. It's not, and to me, it's not helpful in the right way.
Yeah, it might
It's,
lie to us a little bit too, based on the history. I heard somebody
yeah,
recently say them and a
yeah,
friend. One friend said, "Who's the best soccer player in the world?" And it came back and it said it's Messi because, and then his friend did it too,
right,
and chat came back and said it's Ronaldo, and it
yeah.
gave them the information based upon all the searching in their history.
Right. And that's one danger. The second danger is the moment you say, why are you saying Ronaldo, Messi is the best? Oh no, you know what? You are right. Messi is the best. So it's very agreeable to whatever you are talking to it. So it's not a true reflection. It's not a true mentor that you can work with. So the AI I'm creating in mental space is a 360-degree tool where you can apply it in your family along with your therapists, or without them. You can take the same AI and companies can use it, and schools can use it. Now, all the data is used by the way we build our algorithms on top of what OpenAI, Cloud, and everyone does. And instead of agreeing with you, it shows you patterns. Like, for example, the example I use, right? When you're aware that you're doing something wrong, by giving you the power to observe what you're doing wrong, the chances of your change are significantly high. When you don't know what you're doing, you are an autopilot to disaster. So when you talk to ChatGPT, it'll never come back and tell you, hey, in the last 3 hours you spoke to me, these are the four things you said that just don't make any sense. You know, can you go back and relook at what you are doing? Because you just told me you're mad at your son because he didn't do this, but you also told me you asked this is how you need to behave. Those two are polarities, right? My logic that we are putting in out my machine learning algorithm, the way I analyze stuff is I want to be a true help to you to be able to see your patterns over a period of time and give you tools on how to resolve them. Which ChatGPT, Claude, or Grok, they don't do that stuff. They're out there having fun with you, collecting data and having fun with you. So that's how I'm making a difference with my space by applying it to a very critical problem that is not only hitting general population, but when you at large look at low-income neighborhoods who are struggling to get mental health support. When you at large look at prison population, 80% of them are there because of small misdemeanors, and they don't have a way to, deal with them. This becomes a very useful tool to solve a problem.
Is there any example of this yet? Like, it's not, I'm not even trying to have a got you question, but are you and the other people in the space, are you trying to build this under the belief of the purpose? Or if it's just like, is it just automated right now? Or is there something that AI has built trust in the way you're talking about it?
So we, I've been working on this, for last several months, and we had our first beta testing started on our MVP in late October, early November timeframe. And I have I have 2,500 users signed up in the first week, and several hundred of them are consistently using it. So we get feedback from that. But one of the things I also want to make sure, like very clearly tell, is I don't use anybody's conversations to better my AI. It's completely out. All the conversations that you are doing are between you and my system, or between you and your therapist, who you gave access to. So that's one thing I want to be clear. So what the feedback that I'm getting is, initially it started with, "Hey, I don't know how it is any different from ChatGPT. Why should I pay for it?" To the point where, man, this is very helpful. Before, I have people using it twice a week. Now I have people using twice a day. And the same individuals that started and stayed with the system, for a week, I'm seeing they're doing like anywhere between 8 to 15 sessions. They're all 10, 15-minute sessions. What they're telling me is they keep coming back because it's helping them. It's not a random chat with ChatGPT. What it is doing is, it over a period of time, it built a history for you. It started showing patterns, and it starts seeing patterns. We're like, wow, this is being helpful to me. And the reviews I get back from these users are, man, today's session was so useful. I was able to figure out what's been going on with me over Christmas. When I see that response back, it makes me so happy that I'm doing something right now. I mean, we have a long ways to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to solve a problem in a month or 2 months. I'm here for long game, and I want to make sure I do this right and make it truly a game-changing tool.
Did this occur to you from the moment you had where you said in your life, you're like, man, you're building a system that would have helped you?
That's a great point. The reason I ended up picking mental health is, uh, you know, when I was going through what I was going through with my family, that played a significant role on the events that are unfolding with the people that I'm dealing with. Um, and uh, and back then, I didn't care about it much because the way we grew up in India, mental health was never a point of discussion back in the day. We had enough support and around us, and that's one issue. And the other issue is it's also kind of a taboo. So I never grew up uh, thinking that I had to focus on it. Never ever did. Never had a, a session with a counselor or a therapist in my life. However, that event changed my thinking subconsciously. But when I actually solved the technology problem this year, I can, I mean, I listed about 200 use cases I can do with it. But the first use case I keep coming back to is, where did I solve the mental health problem? And that's how I kind of came to it.
What do you have any idea, your quiet thoughts that you don't talk about that are maybe in the book, that you're like, where do you really think this is going? There's all these big debates and theories and all this, but your intelligent brain, you have
Right.
the mic, you're in front of, let's just say, the whole world's listening in.
Right.
Where do you think AI is going in combination of what society will look like?
Yes. Sorry, great question. And I don't have a perfect answer for it. I have my thoughts. and they're very subjective.
I
I
don't.
want to
Yeah, I
make
don't
sure
think.
I
It,
say
yeah,
that.
I don't think any of us do. I think we're trying to figure out
Right.
what's this going to be, right? But I want to hear
Right.
what your thoughts are that are still evolving.
Yes. Yes. So I'm absolutely certain when you take the last 200 years of um, growth in technology or thinking or civilization or revolution, whatever you want to call it, this decade is going to be the most momentous decade in human history because we are going, our lives are going to change so fast. And the technology may lead us to solve so many problems, but but it is also going to create so much inequality that that the suffering can be can be can be quite big. That's the I mean that's the dark side of the story. Okay, why am I saying what am I saying? Right? Uh, you know, uh, the problem with AI is it's being used on a large scale while simultaneously making people efficient. On a large scale, it is used to automate so many things that a lot of current generation folks are dependent on their livelihood. Those jobs will be wiped out. So when they go away, how are they going to be retooled? We took away let's say if I take USA, manufacturing is gone, farming is not there, uh, or it's there in a different way than it used to be there before. We are replacing people in Walmart. We're replacing people in like Walmart, Kroger, whatever, right? In all these retail stores. We're replacing people in, in restaurants and fast food chains that we heavily rely on. Like when you look around you, everything is about cutting the people, cutting the people, cutting the people. Then where are these people going to go and do the work? So what will end up happening is, in order to keep the society safe, again, I don't care which government is there, who is running the countries, not just US, but across the globe, they'll end up giving money for people to survive so they can eat and stay there, right? So, and that there will be this handful of people that is monetizing AI so fast, so quick, the gap between the middle class will no longer exist. The people that are surviving on just getting food, that population will significantly grow higher and higher and higher. See, that's the dark side of the story. So what is the positive side of AI? The biggest and effective ways AI can solve the problem, right? Cancer treatments, all the diseases that we deal with on an everyday basis, that will come along, those get solved much faster, right? Everyday, everyday problems that we deal with as humans, they'll have fixed solutions. But end of the day, I feel like we'll see more suffering and pain, even though the wealth is going to grow disproportionately for a large swath of population. I'm more aware of it, which drives me to do things differently, which is why I'm much more aware of it. And I want to more talk about it because the more awareness around that, I hope will make other entrepreneurs think differently. That is one of the reasons I want to talk more about it.
So your platform, correct me if I'm saying wrong, but SIAM, SAAYAM, right? That you're building. How do you balance efficiency in you building this as we can wrap the conversation up? But how do you build that with emotional and ethical accountability built in? Because that's what we're sitting here saying. Like, how do we make this just good for society?
Correct, correct. Sayam in Sanskrit directly translates to help in English. So the very idea there is, when you can simply go Google, get a response, or go into any of these AI tools and get a response, or when you can easily go to lots of websites and donate money, why can't you simply ask for help in the same way and get that help? That is the whole story behind Saya. So it's the only platform, I would say, currently in works and currently in expansion, that's going to make help as easy as Googling. So now, where is the where are the checks and balances? How do you know that you're going to you're helping the right cause, right? How do you know you are not fostering more laziness? One way, right? So we use a lot of AI behind the scenes to make sure the requests are credible. For me, the goal is to eliminate as much fraud as possibly I can that can happen in the world in this world, and make every request as authentic it possibly could be. So when someone goes and supports the help cause, they know that they're truly making a difference. That's what Sign is built for. That's where it is heading right now.
Awesome. Hey, great conversation. This was 40 minutes of awesomeness. You not feeling great, but you showed up and it said, hey, he's ready to sit here and party. Listen, I love to hear the good side of AI and what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. The book, Becoming Human, I think we all need to go out and figure out how we need to do this thing a little bit better, how we can live in a more human way, plugged in and be authentic. And I appreciate you living that, man, and come and spend this 40 minutes here with us.
Hey, Mark, thank you so much. This podcast is so different for me of all the ones I did. Not focused on technology, but focused on more real world problems. I hope I got my message out properly across to your listeners. I don't mean to be dark. I mean to be more aware. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go have a happy life.
Yeah, man. We'll tag the book and all the connections and all your socials. So thanks again, man, for jumping on.